When comparing different types of governments across the world, there are so many different types that are polar opposites and more. Two fascinating versions of this are none other than nationalism as well as state government. When comparing the two governments hand in hand, it is fascinating to see how much the two have similarities within each other. Both are fascinating due to their overall position of power in each government and are similar to one another because of unity. To understand the similarities between one another, one must look at nationalism as a whole. Nationalism is a type of government in which the nation itself comes first, identifying itself within its culture or people. Nationalism itself is doing everything for the sake of one's nation, and only that. Erika Harris goes on to describe nationalism a bit more. Thus, nationalism is, as it were, a program for the nation's survival and future. At the very least, nationalism focuses on the articulation and the promotion of political aims in the name of and on behalf of a nation or national group. But mostly, nationalism's actions are designed to render the boundaries of the nation congruent with those of its governance. When looking at Harris's argument, she believes how the belief of unity within a nation or culture is the pinnacle of surviving through a nationalist government. Without unity, nationalism would completely fall due to its weak power, so it must strive on unity. Moving forward, a state government, on the other hand, is primarily different compared to that of a nationalist government. A state government is that of a smaller government that is unified and connected towards a bigger or federal government. The best given example could be the 50 states that currently make up the United States of America. These states are allowed the liberties of creating their own government with different laws compared to federal laws. This could be more progressive laws, such as legalization of same-sex marriage or legalizing marijuana for use. At the same time, states could create more strict laws, such as a ban on abortion or strict gun laws, or much more strict voting rights. This is what gives the states the power to be governed. Though not as strong as nationalism, this allows different types of governments to be regulated and more. When comparing nationalism and states, there is differences between the two, but at the same time, similarities between each one. Firstly, the differences. Nationalism is more specifically one unified government, without any expectations, exceptions, or different policies. Everyone must follow the laws as is and nothing else. For states, on the other hand, one could argue against the idea of a law or policy and make it much more loose or strict. This allows much more freedom per state on determining what is right or wrong within the law, rather than nationalism making everything unified and unanimously accepted or denied. However, in the end, the two forms of government do see a similarity between one another, no matter where the state government is located, whether in Australia, America, Mexico, or wherever. It is only a sub-government connected to the top federal government. That is primarily nationalism. The state government, although they themselves could follow their own rules, must primarily follow that of the nationalist government. This includes if a law is deemed unfit, it could be determined as unconstitutional, for example, as many laws may happen to be in the United States. Another way that both governments see similarity is their unity. The state itself, one could argue, is just as similar to a nationalistic government, as they will do everything for their government. When looking at two distinctive governments, nationalism and state, both have a distinctive style of governing, while at the same time have similarities just like one another.